Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled The Common Misuse of the Word Narcissist. As I spend time online, one thing I notice all the time is how often people throw around the term narcissism. It seems like any time there's a disagreement, or if someone comes off as unreasonable or just a bit unlikable, people are quick to label them as a narcissist. I think this habit comes from a lot of folks being extra sensitive to the fact that not everyone sees things the way they do. When they run into someone who thinks differently, even if it's not invasive or disrespectful, they get defensive and jump to calling that person a narcissist. I've seen this happen a lot, especially when people almost cross the line into insults. Someone will say they don't care what another person thinks because they're confident in themselves and don't need validation from someone trying to put them down. And yet, people still find a way to label that confidence as narcissism. But the truth is, a lot of people who use that word don't really know what it actually means. It's become one of those trendy terms that people pick up online and just start using without really understanding. Real narcissism is rare and pretty serious. There are people out there who genuinely fit the description, no doubt. But it's being slapped onto people left and right without any real thought behind it. I've even made a video called "You Don't Understand Half the Words You Use," talking about how people throw around words they don't fully grasp. Narcissist could have easily been in that video, but I'm making a separate one about it now because it's a term that people are completely misunderstanding. A true narcissist lacks empathy, only cares about themselves, and tends to manipulate others without a second thought. Narcissists are emotionally closed off. They can't truly connect or feel for others. Personally, I've been called a narcissist a few times in my life, and it's almost laughable, because if those people knew me at all, they'd realize I'm about as far from a narcissist as it gets. I care deeply about people. I've cried over lost pets and friends, and seeing people struggle really affects me. I even tear up at sad movies when an animal or person dies. These are things a narcissist just doesn't do. So when you step back and really think about it, you'll notice people just don't understand what the word narcissist means and keep using it wrong. Now, I know that making a video on this won't stop people from misusing the term. It's kind of therapeutic for me, though. It's a way to get my thoughts out, to put my opinions on record, and then come back in the future to see if or how my views have changed. Sure, I don't expect this video to change much, and I get that it won't magically stop people from misusing words. People will probably keep doing it, no matter what. You could spend trillions on a campaign to educate people, and they'd still misuse certain terms because everyone has their own interpretation of what words mean. Ask 100 people to define a word, and you'll likely get 20 to 30 different takes. Narcissist is just another one of those words. Honestly, I need to work on not letting it annoy me so much, but it's hard. Especially when you think about how easy it is now to look up definitions. We all have phones with Google or Siri ready to give us instant answers. There are dictionary apps all over the place. It's all right there at our fingertips. Yet people still choose to live in this kind of self-imposed ignorance. It amazes me because I've always been curious about learning, especially when it comes to language and vocabulary. I wanted to understand words and how to use them correctly, and that curiosity feels like second nature to me. Maybe not everyone has that, and that's fine. But if you're going to throw a word around, at least know what it means, so you don't end up looking silly. Another thing I've decided is that I'm done arguing with people about these things. When I was in this Facebook group that was supposed to be a support space for people dealing with narcissistic behavior, I saw people constantly fighting over who was the real narcissist. The page was full of people calling each other narcissists instead of offering support. It was just endless bickering over who fit the label, and it got so bad I had to leave. I even got sucked into a few of those arguments, only to realize it's a waste of time. People will believe whatever they want, and changing someone's mind takes way more time and energy than it's worth. That's one of the main reasons I left that group. What was supposed to be a supportive space for those affected by narcissistic behavior, ironically became filled with people who were exhibiting those same behaviors themselves. The ones quickest to call others narcissists were often the most narcissistic themselves. It's kind of ironic. Like they say, you become what you hate. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.